Blessed be God forever. Hi, my name is Mr. Wilkins Jesus from the reading area, and I will be your guide for today's online orientation for students and parents. To formally welcome us to today's event, we have the principal of the Integrated Basic Education Department, Mr. Giancarlo V. Arciwals.
Welcome to Siena College of Taytay, and this is academic year 2020-2021. What should we expect when it comes to transfer of learning this academic year? The situation right now gives us a number of things to be anxious about. However, Siena College of Taytay is safe. Safe as in SCT offers an accessible and flexible education. What is to be accessible? That is to be within reach, to be attainable, and even to be approachable. Flexible? That is to be adaptable, accommodating, ready and able to change. Despite the many changes, we want the education of our youth to continue, to stress our belief in them being the hope of the future. Today, we present to you how this transfer of learning will still continue to be effective, but within the parameters of safety and caution, and most importantly, with full cooperation. This current crisis we are in forces us to do things out of the ordinary, but God is a force greater than any other. Remember, God cares, and Siena cares. That is why Siena College of Taytay is safe. Blessed be God forever.
Blessed be God forever. In a matter of months, the coronavirus pandemic has upended the daily lives of people around the world. Uncertainties, doubts, anxieties, fears. It was like Pandora's box, opening up once again. But God is greater than any kind of virus around, and He shall see us through, because God loves, God triumphs, God cares. And in the same way, Siena cares. Being one of the most affected, the school sees the need to help the students learn, cultivate compassion, and increase resilience while building a safer and more caring community. The safety and protection of the students is of utmost importance. And so, we present to you SAFE, Siena's accessible and flexible education. What is SAFE? Within the parameters of the government guidelines to ensure the safety of our students, Siena College continues its commitment to the evangelizing mission of the Church through integral faith formation that promotes academic proficiency and values lived by Venerable Francisca del Espiritu Santo de Fuentes. SCT makes certain of the continuous transfer of learning that is within reach, readily available, and at the same time accommodating and adaptable to different or altered conditions. It is learning that is safe. Several options have been given when it comes to mode of delivery of the lessons, and the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines explains the different options. Synchronous. This means online face-to-face meeting. It is remote learning wherein the class is conducted in real time within tasks carried out throughout the allotted time, either through video conferences, chats, or messaging apps, while logged in to a single online platform or learning management system. Asynchronous. There is no online face-to-face class meeting. Students are provided with content and tasks that they need to accomplish within a time frame using an online platform or LMS. Modified asynchronous. There is no online face-to-face class meeting. Students are provided with content and tasks that they need to accomplish within a time frame, and these tasks will either be picked up from the school or will be delivered to them and by them via courier. Hybrid. This maintains a schedule of in-person class meetings and online activities during the term. Modified hybrid. This is simply a combination of synchronous and asynchronous models, minus the in-person class meetings. There are online face-to-face class meetings, and the time in between class meetings will be devoted to accomplishing tasks as scheduled on the Learning Management Platform. Based on the conducted surveys in May 2020 among students and teachers, in terms of online connectivity and access to gadgets, it is concluded that the best modes of delivery would be modified asynchronous to address the problems of unstable online connectivity and the sharing of gadgets among family members, and modified hybrid to avoid in-person class meetings. With the students staying at home for their education, it is inevitable that there be a learning partner. Who is a learning partner? A learning partner could be a parent, a guardian, an elder sibling, or any other relative or a housemate mature enough to be a collaborator in the teaching learning process. A learning partner has a duty to assist the exceptional learners, preschool, primary and intermediate learners, or to monitor the junior high school and senior high school learners. A learning partner is an educational frontliner. For the learning management system, the IBED has considered using the Google Classroom and the Seesaw class. Instructional materials to be used in the delivery of the lessons are modules, workbooks, supplements, and to a limited extent, textbooks. Class schedules will be modified with at least a 1-hour synchronous meeting per class per week, while the rest of the week will be devoted to asynchronous work, feedbacking, and conferences. Each subject will have at least one class meeting per week. Remaining days shall be devoted to technical support to students or parents having difficulty in accessing online resources, remediation for students who were not able to join the synchronous discussion, socio-emotional check-ins or check-ups and spiritual formation for students, retrieval, checking, and recording of students' requirements, profiling students, feedbacking, and making progress reports. John Mueller says that assessments require learners to show their command of what they learned by applying that knowledge and those skills to real-world tasks. Formative assessments, known as in-process evaluations of student comprehension, learning needs, and academic progress, will be rated differently as dictated with the current situation. Club activities or even programs will be incorporated as part of the performance tasks of the students. As a Catholic institution, SCT will still provide online spiritual formation through Eucharistic celebrations, recollections, and other liturgical celebrations as deemed necessary. The socio-emotional well-being is also a consideration as we make guidance counseling and other checkups and consultations part of the regular schedule of each student. Anxious of the new norm? No need to be. We shall be holding a series of online orientation for students, parents, and learning partners to be enlightened on the whole process and the roles of each one in the teaching-learning process a few weeks before we actually start classes on the 24th of August 2020. Thank you for your continued trust in Siena College, because Siena cares and Siena wants to keep you safe. To help us know more of our school's identity, let us all listen to Ms. Maria Concepcion J. Cruz, English Area Coordinator.
Good day, everyone. Blessed be God forever. Welcome to Siena College of Taytay. This is Miss Connie Cruz, and allow me to give you a brief introduction of our school. Siena College of Taytay, formerly St. Catherine Academy, was opened in June 1957 in response to the invitation of the Archbishop of Manila, His Eminence Cardinal Rufino Santos. Mother Natividad Pilapilo P., then Superior General of the Congregation of Dominican Sisters of St. Catherine of Siena, appointed Mother Stella Salao O.P. as the first superior and directress principal of the school. With the help of Reverend Father Pedro Hilario, parish priest of Taytay, the school was opened within the compound of St. John the Baptist Parish Church. The school has long existed for 6 decades, to be exact, 63 years of serving the community of Taytay and its neighboring towns, Cainta, Angono, Binangonan, Antipolo, Pasig, Marikina, and even to as far as Cardona and Tanay. It is being run by the Dominican Sisters of St. Catherine of Siena. Our school president is Sister Caroline Capidi OP, and principal, Mr. Giancarlo Archibald. We take pride in being PAASCO accredited in Rizal. PAASCO is the Philippine Accrediting Association of Schools, Colleges, and Universities. They acknowledge the quality of education we deliver to our students, thus certifying us with Level 3 for junior high school and Level 2 for the grade school. Since 1957, our logo had gone through several changes. At present, this is our new logo. The cross logo in the upper left corner is the logo of the Dominican Sisters of St. Catherine of Siena. Siena College of Taytay belongs to the OP Siena system. Beside it is the fleur-de-lis, or the French flower of the lily. It is both a symbol of the Blessed Virgin Mary and the Holy Trinity. The 3 petals indicate the Holy Trinity, with a band at the bottom symbolizing Mary. At the bottom left is the star. It carries several meanings: a symbol of light that serves as a guide as we seek the truth, and a symbol of dreams and aspirations for an educational institution committed to becoming a center of excellence. And lastly, the globe with the map of the Philippines. It denotes Siena's origin and mission. The Congregation of Dominican Sisters of St. Catherine of Siena was founded by Mother Francisca del Espiritu Santo de Fuentes in the Philippines. We share with the congregation in the evangelizing mission of the church. Join me in reading our mission vision statement. As a member of the Dominican OP Siena school system, Siena College of Taytay commits to the evangelizing mission of the church through integral faith formation that promotes academic proficiency and values lived by Mother Francisca del Espiritu Santo de Fuentes. By 2026, we envision our school to be a center of excellence. All our programs are geared towards becoming a center of excellence. As of this pandemic time, our competent faculty has been preparing for the different learning modalities: synchronous, asynchronous, modular, all reaching out to our students online and offline for continued learning. We also share the Dominican charism of passion for truth and compassion for humanity. Our Dominican motto, Contemplata aliis studere, means to contemplate and share the fruits of our contemplation. Our actions are inspired by the values and virtues of the following. Saint Dominic de Guzman is the founder of the Order of Preachers. Before his birth, his mother dreamt that a dog leapt from her womb carrying a torch in its mouth. During his baptism, his mother saw a vision of a star on his forehead. His feast falls on the 8th of August. Saint Catherine of Siena is the patroness of the Congregation of the Dominican Sisters of St. Catherine of Siena. She was declared the patroness of Rome by Pope Pius XII in 1940 and Doctor of the Church in 1970 by Pope Paul VI. Her feast day falls on the 29th of April. Mother Francisca del Espiritu Santo de Fuentes is the foundress of the Congregation of the Dominican Sisters of St. Catherine of Siena. Her life of prayer led her to give herself to the service of her fellow men, the sick, the poor, and the young. She has been declared venerable, a few more steps towards becoming a saint. Shannons are identified by possessing the following graduate attributes: God-centered, truth-seeker, community builder, and servant leader. A Shannon is God-centered. Someone is God-centered when one has a strong faith in the divine being manifested in one's words and deeds. We see a Shannon who is prayerful and reflective of God's word, a lover of the Holy Eucharist, is a devotee of the Blessed Virgin Mary and the saints. A God-centered Shannon should also be a steward of God's creation. A Shannon is a truth seeker. A truth seeker is someone who seeks veritas, which means truth, through assiduous study across disciplines. A Shannon who is a truth seeker must be competent, creative, research motivated, and is a lifelong learner who is critical thinker. A Shannon is a community builder. A community builder is someone who demonstrates the ability to work with a diverse group of people for a common good. A Shannon must be an effective communicator, culturally sensitive, a creative collaborator, and an advocate of justice and peace. A Shannon is a servant leader. A Shannon servant leader is someone who exemplifies Christ's leadership as lived by Saint Dominic, Saint Catherine, and Mother Francisca del Espíritu Santo de Fuentes. One must be of service to others, a people person, engaged in community-based programs and activities, and responsive to local issues and concerns. Shannon graduates are God-centered, truth-seeker, community builder, and servant leader. Meet our mascot, Domi. In our pursuit for excellence, we continue to improve our program offerings. From the Integrated Basic Education Department to the service education or college level to the graduate school, we commit to serve you more. Our graduates have proven their share in the community. They have given their best in their fields of expertise. We commit to give more, if not the same, to our graduates. DepEd Secretary Dr. Lenore Briones said, "Learning must continue, education cannot wait." Make way for Siena College of Taytay #safe online distance learning. Thank you very much for choosing Siena College of Taytay. Your trust is important to us. Welcome to school year 2020-2021.
And now, to discuss our academic culture for this school year, let us hear it from our Science Area Coordinator, Mrs. Rowena E. Mbile.
Good day, everyone, and blessed be God forever. I hope all of you are doing well. You are all healthy and you are all safe. Because right now, we are still in the middle of the COVID-19 virus pandemic. These times are really hard for us. We are doing things differently. We fear for our life, and we are uncertain about our future. But let us always remember that there is God who will never leave us in this battle. All that we have to do is to do the right thing, to continue to trust Him and have faith in Him. Because our God is a God who cares. Your Siena College of Taytay family also cares for you. That's why this past few months, we have been hard at work. We've been gathering data and listening to the feedback of the parents, the students, and the teachers. The teachers are having their trainings so that they will be able to deliver effective and engaging instruction that is fit for these times. They are also very busy writing learning modules, learning packets, and preparing the interactive virtual classroom. We are doing all of this so that we will be able to deliver learning in different modalities. Modalities that is best suited for you, our learners. Because Siena College of Taytay would like to ascertain the continuous transfer of learning. Learning that is within reach, readily available, accommodating, adaptable, and yet still within the parameters of the government guidelines to ensure the safety of our students. For academic year 2020 and 2021, Siena College of Taytay will be bringing SCT education right at the comfort and safety of your own homes through our Siena Accessible and Flexible Education, or the SAFE program. I will be sharing with you what the culture will be like in terms of academics by answering some of the frequently asked questions. The first question is, how will my child learn? For learning, we have considered the following: the modes of delivery of instruction, the learning materials which will be provided for the students, the assessment and the feedback, and the school and the home support system. For the delivery of instruction, we made a survey on the internet connectivity of the learners, and the results showed that there will be online and offline learners. The learning spaces, which must also be inclusive and safe. Instruction should also be student-centered and must go beyond the most essential learning competencies that is prescribed by the Department of Education. Values and the graduate attributes should also be integrated in the lessons because we want our students to become God-centered, servant leaders, community builders, and truth seekers. After a lot of consultations and deliberations, the school decided on the use of the Google Classroom from intermediate to the senior high school level, and the Seesaw class from the pre-kindergarten up to grade 3 as the LMS, or the Learning Management System. These LMS are user-friendly, they are easily accessible, and they are free. The asynchronous and the synchronous sessions will take place using the Google Classroom and the Seesaw class. Synchronous sessions will take place in real time. This is where the students will be able to see their teachers and their classmates face to face, but only online. This will also simulate a classroom setting. These sessions will be conducted via Google Meet through the official TechnoKid Gmail account. This account will be sent to the email account of the students and the learning partners. All the meeting links will be sent through this Gmail account. The synchronous sessions may also take place via Messenger or a personal phone call when there is a need for the teacher to make a small group discussion or a personal follow-up with the students. Also, during synchronous sessions, the classes may still be further subdivided if they need to discuss in small groups. The actual virtual interactions will give a chance for the learners to interact with the teacher, to interact with the content, and to interact with their classmates. This will also be a time where the learners can clarify some instructions or procedures that they will do for the asynchronous tasks. This will also be allotted for the discussion of the learning content which the students find difficult. We are also encouraging all the offline learners to join the synchronous sessions. There is no online face-to-face class meeting for asynchronous sessions. During these sessions, the students will interact with the content and they will have to accomplish the task in their own space, at their own pace, and at their own time schedule. The online learners will be provided with a lesson through the selected LMS. All the links for the learning content and the task are already embedded in the interactive virtual classrooms. These are some of the interactive virtual classrooms prepared by our teachers. Each subject area will have an interactive virtual classroom. The elements in these virtual classrooms are clickable, like when a student clicks on the television set, or the books, or the crucifix, they will be directed to a certain learning material that is carefully selected by the teacher and that assures us of the correctness of the content, the suitability to the learner's level, and the safety of the site. Also, the students do not have to go out of the virtual classrooms because all the links for the learning materials are already embedded in them. The offline learners will interact with content and accomplish their task through the printed materials. For asynchronous sessions, the task and the content will be given on a weekly basis. This will be done on the same day that their synchronous session will fall. For example, the synchronous session for science will fall on a Monday. The task for that week will be given on the same day. Both the synchronous and asynchronous sessions are safe learning spaces for the learners. These sessions will give them a chance to interact with the other students, interact with the learning content, and to interact with the teachers. For the learning materials, we have considered the following. There are teacher-made learning modules. There are work texts, portfolios, and journals. There will be also textbook for selected subject areas. There will be online subscriptions and curated and carefully selected learning materials from the internet. The learning materials are based and goes beyond the most essential learning competencies that is prescribed by the Department of Education. The content is directed towards the mastery of the knowledge and the skills. It promotes deeper understanding of the concepts, and it provides opportunities for learning life skills. It will also enable students to become active participants of their own learning. Each subject area will have a learning module. All the teachers prepared learning modules. There will also be work texts, journals, and portfolios, which are also teacher-made. All of these learning materials will be printed and will be made available to the students. The distribution, the retrieval, and the procedures on how to use them will be discussed in details during the classroom orientations and the subject orientations. There will also be textbooks for selected subject areas. The learning materials that I have mentioned contain the assessment. There will be pre- and post-assessment, formative assessment, and summative assessment. The quarterly assessment will be given through the Google Classroom. But for this school year, Siena College of Taytay will be focusing on students' learning. So there will be more formative assessments. And these formative assessments are also found in the learning materials. And there will be less summative assessments. The assessments and the grading will be the descriptions of progress towards learning. Specific rubrics will be used to describe student learning. For the grading system, we will still be following the DepEd mandate. It will be standards and competency-based, and the averaging system will be used. The grade components are the following. For the written works, 40%, for the performance task, 40%, and for the quarterly assessment, 20%. The specific grade components for each subject area will be discussed during the subject orientation. But we assure you that the products and the performance tasks are all doable at home. The highest grade that a student may get is 100. That's the perfect grade. The lowest grade is 65, and the passing grade is 75. When a student fails in 2 subjects or 2 learning areas, there will be remedial classes. But if a student fails in 3 or more learning areas, the student will be retained in the same year level for the grade school and the junior high school. When a senior high school student fails, he or she will have to take the failing subjects only during summertime. The final grade at the end of the school year and the remedial class marks for those who will get failing grades will be average. And for the students to pass, they must get a grade of 75 or higher. While it may be true that grades in school may not determine a student's future, their attitude towards getting that grade will surely will. For honors, it will be based 100% on academics. The student must follow the school rules and regulations, and the student must not have been implicated in any academic dishonesty or behavioral problems. The awards which will be given at the end of the school year for non-graduating learners are the following: 3-star honors, 2-star honors, and 1-star honors. For the graduating learners, the awards are the following: with the highest honors, with high honors, and with honors. For a graduating senior high school, the academic awards are the valedictorian, the salutatorian, and with honors. Each would have a corresponding grade requirement. Jane Hall said, "At the end of the day, the most overwhelming key to a child's success is the positive involvement of the parents." So this brings us to the last factor, which is the school and the home support system. And that brings us to the second question. What will my role be in my child's learning partner? Since education will take place at home, it is important that we have a learning partner. The learning partners are the educational frontliners at home. The learning partner could be the parent, but since parents are also very busy with their work, it may be a guardian, an elder sibling, or any other relative or housemate, which will be able to assist the preschool, the primary, and the intermediate level, and to monitor the junior high school and the senior high school learner. The learning partner have to create a conducive space where the students will work. They also have to help the learner establish a routine and remain focused on schoolwork throughout the day. They will also make a follow-up of the progress of the assigned task to be completed within the given time frame. They must also ensure that the learners attend the synchronous class sessions. The third question is, what will my child's day be like? The logging in time will start at 8 o'clock. At this time, advisors are already logged in, and they may have small talks small conversations while waiting for the others to be ready. Everybody is expected to be ready at 8:15 for the morning praise and the morning exercises. The synchronous classes will begin at around 8:30 a.m. until around 12 noon with health and brain breaks in between. After lunch, the time will be devoted for asynchronous or independent work time. It may also be devoted for feedbacking, for academic consultations between the subject teachers, the advisors, and the students. It may also be allotted for scheduled individual or small group conferences, for personal or spiritual formation with a class advisor, a guidance counselor, or a spiritual advisor. For the online distance learning, will the class size be the same as before? The class sizes for the preschool and primary classes have been smaller. There is a smaller student to teacher ratio ever since. The higher grade levels will still have the same average class size. But during synchronous sessions, these classes may sometimes be further subdivided into smaller groups. Will there be activities for spiritual formation? The core of the SCP curriculum is still Christian living and values education. And so, online spiritual formations like Eucharistic celebrations, recollections, and other liturgical celebrations will still be provided for the students. You may still have a lot of questions about what will happen for this academic year. So, we shall be conducting the following online orientations. There will be class orientations, subject orientations, a series of orientations on how to use the Google Classroom and the Seesaw class, and the other apps which will be needed for the asynchronous and the synchronous sessions. Research says parental involvement, the school involvement, will surely yield to student success. So even though times are hard now, times are different, times are very uncertain, again, let us not forget that we have a God who cares, and your Shena family cares for you also. So together, let's say no to academic freeze. Let us all be brave. Let's face these times. Let us make things happen. And let us help you create your own future today. I welcome you to academic year 2020-2021 to Shena College of Taytay. Thank you for your continued trust in us. And don't forget, Shena cares.
How should a true Sienan conduct oneself, particularly in this online distance learning? We shall hear the answers from our Prefect of Student Formation, Mr. Victorino S. Luna.
A blessed day to all of us. I am Mr. Victorino Luna, the Prefect of Student Formation of the Senior High School for school year 2020-2021. My task today is to share something with you about the school's Supplemental Code of Discipline program. But before we proceed further, may I invite you first for a moment to this beautiful passage taken from the book of Hebrews. No discipline seems pleasant at the moment, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Maybe some of you are familiar with this, and if you want to harvest the fruits of righteousness and peace, you need to invest something to attain self-discipline, which is proper education and proper training. For the school year 2020-2021, we are to face a very different method in the conduct of educating our children. They call it the blended learning method. And to cope up with this situation, a DepEd official suggested that we need to learn about acceptability, flexibility, and the readiness to sacrifice. At this juncture, allow me to show to you the philosophy and objectives behind the Supplemental Student Code of Discipline. Siena College of Taytay upholds discipline as an essential element of educative teaching learning program and therefore considers maintenance of good discipline among the students as a necessary prerequisite in establishing a climate conducive to learning. School discipline is imposed in order to make everyone aware of the importance of law and order, which is necessary for attaining self-discipline and to create a condition that would stimulate growth of the individual student's personality and instill in him the fundamental attitude of discipline and self-responsibility. Siena College of Taytay reserves the exclusive rights and prerogatives in the definition, establishment, and interpretation of its policies, rules, and regulations. Alongside with the primary function of enacting the foregoing provisions, the school administration holds the sole authority to, number 1, determine what is and what is not acceptable behavior for its students. Number 2, categorize offenses. And number 3, decide what sanction applies in its case observing the due process rule. The objectives of the program. Number 1, to apply the principle and culture of reinforcement, encouragement, and care to the educational community in order to prevent or reduce behavioral offenses outside the four corners of the classroom with the best possible educational means. Number 2, to ensure that a safe educational environment is established through constant reminders of the supplemental discipline policy that will lead to the eventual success of the hybrids and or modified learning mode during this time of crisis. And number 3, to stimulate positive values and good manners as digital citizens among the SCT community while adapting to the new normal situation brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. Next, we have the behavioral indicators expected from our students during the duration of the blended learning method. Number 1, respectful in all aspects towards his classmates and teachers. Number 2, punctual and readiness for the daily class schedule. Number 3, always observing proper grooming and dress code. And number 4, uses his or her time wisely. From these behavioral indicators, there might still be some students who, without being malice, commits violations to the school's rules, policies, and regulations. Hence, the summary of offenses. The Code of Discipline stipulated in the SCT Student Handbook remains valid and enforceable even during the implementation of the blended learning program. However, it is perceived that the most common offenses that might be violated in the remote learning system are stated below, but not limited to. Category 1, use of any social media as a platform for unlawful or immoral purposes, which is detrimental to the name of the school, its employees, students, and others. Under which, letter A, creating or opening hyperlinks or any associated files that are not from a trusted source. Letter B, establishing networks or network connections to make live communications, including audio or video, without prior permission. And letter C, inundating email accounts or applications used for distance education with high electronic data flow, stopping it from working, disabling or destroying their contents. Category number 2, improper use of social media or any electronic gadget. Letter A, cyberbullying or any bullying done through the use of technology or any electronic means. Letter B, photocopying, possessing, publishing, and circulating images of school personnel and students without their consent. And letter C, any form of academic dishonesty is not allowed. Category 3, unacceptable behavior during synchronous classes. Letter A, engaging in any discourse not related to the present topic being discussed. Letter B, disrespect to teachers and students alike. And letter C, leaving frequently from the virtual classroom without any valid reason. And category number 4, attendance and proper grooming. Letter C, always wear decent clothes during the entire duration of the virtual classes. Upper garments must cover shoulder to shoulder. Clunging neckline and accessories beyond proportion for girls are not allowed. And letter D, observe proper hairstyle for girls. No boys haircut, punk or standing style. And haircut for boys. Barbers knew what a student haircut looks like. Just ask them politely. Hair accessories, earrings, including beards and goatees, are not allowed. Should the students commit any of the above mentioned offenses, a corresponding disciplinary sanction and or intervention is given for each offense committed. We have the disciplinary sanctions and interventions. Letter A, verbal warning. Letter B, written warning. Letter C, online conference with parents. Letter D, online counseling sessions. And letter E, disciplinary probation status. Before a student is given a disciplinary probation status, a thorough investigation is to be undertaken following the required due process in hearing the case. These are the procedural due process in student disciplinary hearings. Letter A, written notice. Letter B, opportunity to be heard and a right to counsel if desired. Letter C, access to evidence against him or her. Letter D, right to present evidence. And letter E, appropriate committee to hear the case. Lastly, I would like to address these friendly reminders to our dear parents, students, as well as to our dear teachers regarding our duties and obligations as mandated by the Education Act of 1982, including the netiquette for Sienans. Section 14 of this Act for parents. Number 1. Parents, individually or collectively, through the school system shall help carry out the educational objectives of the school in accordance with the national goals. And number 2, parents shall cooperate with the school in the implementation of the school program, curricular and co-curricular. Section 15 for students. Number 1, promote and maintain the peace and tranquility of the school by observing the rules of discipline and by exerting efforts to attain harmonious relationship with fellow students and school personnel. Number 2, exercise his rights responsibly in the knowledge that he is answerable for any infringement or violation of the public welfare and of the rights of others. Section 16 for teachers. Number 1, perform his duties to the school by discharging his responsibilities in accordance with the philosophy, goals, and objectives of the school. Number 2, render regular reports on the performance of his students and to the latter's parents or guardians with specific suggestions for improvement. Here is the etiquette for Sienans. Number 1, treat others online as you would like to be treated. Always apply professional online standards. Number 3, don't be afraid to ask questions. 4, be clear and concise. 5, be respectful and forgive people if they make a mistake. 6, share your own knowledge. Be unique. 7, only discuss academic issues. Don't be personal. 8, respect each other. As a parting word and in behalf of Siena College community, I would like to thank sincerely our beloved parents and guardians for your continued trust and confidence by enrolling and entrusting your children to Siena College of Taytay. God bless us all. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Thank you.
As the opening of classes draws near, one of our sources of anxiety is how classes would be conducted. And so now, let us erase that anxiety as we watch the demonstration video on how to use the Google Classroom for our grade school, junior high school, and senior high school learners.
In this video, we are going to show you how to join a Google Classroom by typing in the class code. So the first thing we need to do is sign into Google Classroom, classroom.google.com, or if you're already signed in, you can click the Google Apps and choose Classroom from the shortcut icons. If you don't see it there, click More, and it should be near the bottom. So here we have the classes we already belong to, but we want to join another classroom. So we're going to click Add or Join a Class and click Join Class. Now your teacher will display a class code, and you just need to type that code in and then click Join. And it's really that simple. Now you're enrolled in the STEM class. These are the assignments your teacher has already posted, and your classwork will all appear here. In this video, we're going to have a look at joining a class, a Google Classroom, by an invitation email. So as a student, you need to sign into your Google account, or you can go to google.com and just hit sign in. What we're going to do first of all, though, is check our Gmail. So once we're signed in, we're going to go to Gmail, check our inbox for an invitation from our teacher, open the message, and Miss Teacher wants us to join the STEM class. Click Join. To click Join, and there we are. We've been added to the STEM class in our Google Classroom. We can see all of the classes we belong to by clicking this menu here. So we are in the STEM class, we're in 5B, we have a geography class, and our old 3A class is still here. So there's STEM. And here's the assignments that our teacher has posted. Thanks for watching.
After that enlightening presentation, we now witness the demonstration video on how to use the Seesaw Classroom for our exceptional learners, pre-K and kinder learners.
Students using their email to log into Seesaw, first have them open the Seesaw app on their device or go to app.seesaw.me on a Chromebook or computer. Then tap the I'm a Student button. Students that need to connect to a class for the first time or create their account will enter the class join code provided by their teacher here and select Go. Students will select either Continue with Google or enter their name, email, and desired password to create their account. Now I will show you how students with existing Seesaw accounts can join your class. First, have them open the Seesaw app on their device or go to app.seesaw.me. Then tap the I'm a Student button. Students who already have a Seesaw account can type in their email and password or select Sign in with Google. Once the student is logged in, they will tap their profile icon located in the top left corner. Then tap Join Class. They will then enter the class join code provided by their teacher. Then tap Join Class. The student will see a confirmation screen with a link to go directly to their newly joined class. Students with email address login can toggle between their classes without having to log out and back in each time. Students will tap their profile icon, then select the desired class from the class list. And that's all there is to it. You now know how to get your students logged in and connected with their email accounts.
That wraps up our online orientation for students and parents. Thank you all for tuning in, and we all hope that most of your questions about SCT's online distance learning have been answered. Once again, thank you, and see you all as we open school year 2020 to 2021 on August 24, 2020. God cares, Sienna cares.